Hello, I want to welcome you back to the Bistro Burger class. In part one, we made 2 cards featuring the Bistro Burger bundle, and you could follow along with that by downloading the tutorial. I've got the link down in the description below for you. Let me grab it here so you can just see. But this is a tutorial that you can print off or just download this on your computer. And it includes the supply list for all of the projects that we're making, as well as pictures of each card, your measurements, and your directions. So this is free for you to download. The class is free for you to watch. And if you would like the class materials, you can get those for free with a $40 online purchase when you use the host code that I've got linked below. So the way that works is you place an order in my online store. That host code shows up for me and I see that, and then I will send out your class kit within 48 hours. So these will be available through the rest of the month of May. And if you want this class kit, be sure to add that host code to your order. So if you are new to my channel, I'm Melissa. I blog by the Stamp Doc, and my channel is called the Stamp Doc. That's because I work as a chiropractor and acupuncturist, and I also stamp, obviously. So if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you like this video, hit a like too, because that always helps me out. And obviously, I'm trying to grow my channel this year, so I appreciate all the help I can get. So let's get started with the 2 final cards. The first 2 were pretty simple. The next 2 are a little more stepped up, so there is a little more involved with those, but I think you'll learn some great techniques with that. So let me switch this over to a layout so that you can see just my screen there. There we go. And we'll get started. So this is the Bistro Burger bundle. It sells for $45.75, so obviously having this bundle will qualify you to get the class for free. If you already have this and you don't want to place an order, I do have an option for you to get the class kit for $25, which includes shipping, and I put the link for that in the description below as well. All right, so we are going to start with a pun card. I always love a good pun, so this one we're going to do here. Oh, here come my stampede of puppies. All right, so I have an old olive card base and a granny apple green layer, and I'm going to just go ahead and adhere those 2 together, because really there's not much else that we're doing on those. All right, we'll put that there. And then I have these 3 pieces of lemon lime twist, and I'm going to go ahead and line them up just like so. And I am going to use my post-it note tape again. This is linked in my Amazon store, and so I'll have the Amazon link for you below. But this is great for a lot of purposes. I showed you in the first video how to use it for holding your die cuts in place, but it's also really good for holding your paper in place like this. So I'm going to flip that over, and we are going to use the black Memento ink and the little pickle stamp, because don't all these greens just remind you of pickles? So I just want to stamp these pickles very randomly all over the card. I don't have to do the center because we're going to cover that up, but again, just be very random. Don't worry exactly what they look like, because we're going to do a little something more to them anyway. All right, and that should be pretty good. Okay. So now I am going to take a lemon lime twist blend, and you can use the dark or the light. I'm going to use the light, and I just want to color those in. And so one of the things that this is kind of a different technique, because usually when you're using the blends, you're going to be using those on white cardstock like we did in the first video to create shading, but tone on tone, it really looks nice on colored cardstock. So again, if you want it darker, I'm using a light one here, you could do that. I'm not really worried too much about shading, because again, this is not really our focal point, but this is going to be our background. But it will add just a little bit of interest. So I'm going to get all of those pickles colored. And you can see I'm not being fancy there. We're just getting some color on those. All right. Then I am going to need I'm going to peel this off, and I am going to need my dimensionals. So let me grab those. Those are my little ones. I will need those eventually. And I'm going to go ahead and put dimensionals on the corner of this one. And I use a lot of dimensionals on my cards. I think you probably saw that in the first video. I think it just adds a lot of interest. If you're going to be mailing your cards, leave the dimensionals off and just glue it down with the multi-purpose glue. And I'm going to put that down on this left edge and just leave kind of an even border around that. And then I'm going to do the same for the last piece. So the middle piece I'm not putting dimensionals on yet. I'm going to take those off. And I'm not one that likes to measure, so I'm an eyeballer. So I'm going to eyeball that, and I'm going to put that one over here at the corner and just try to make sure there's an even border there too. And then when I go to put the middle one in, I can just kind of evenly space it there, and it's going to look just fine. So even if it's not perfectly separated, it's still going to look pretty good. Alright, so we're just going to get that on there. Line that up between the two of them. We should have it pretty good, or at least close enough. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is there's a stamp in this set that says you're kind of a big deal. And I decided I wanted it to be dill instead of deal. So let me show you how I did that. First thing I did is I cut my stamp apart. So now I have two separate stamps, but they can still go together. So I've got those now. And I'm going to take this one first, and I'm going to stamp that at the very top in black ink. So this is a die from the Nested Essentials, and that's one of the main dies I used for this class. But that would be included in your kit. And then I'm going to grab, let me see if I have a piece of scrap paper here. I need a little piece of black, or white, I mean. Okay. And this one I'm going to stamp in Granny Apple Green, the one that says just big deal. I really just need the big, and I'm going to cut that apart. And again, I haven't ruined that stamp. I can easily go back in and put those together and stamp You're Kind of a Big Deal all at once. I'll go ahead and trim that down. And I'm going to put that on with a dimensional. And I just kind of lined it up with the top part of that. So I've got big right there. And then the other thing is I had to come up with letters to spell dill. So I'm using letters from the, what is it called? Mini alphabet dies. And this one's really good because it has all on one little die, so you really only have to make one pass to even spell dill. But again, I will include these letters in your class kit. So if you get a class kit, you'll have these already. But if you want to make lots of these, go ahead and add that mini alphabet to your order. And then I'm going to use that Post-it note tape that we've been using before, just like we used to do that. And I'm going to just grab those this way. And what that allows me to do is then I can put glue on the back of this. So I'm using my multi-purpose glue. And just putting a little bit on there. And then when I come on here, I can line this up, push those down. I'm going to hold them with this finger and then gently pull that back. And we have You're Kind of a Big Deal. So we're going to put this on with dimensionals also. And again, lots of dimensionals. So if you don't have dimensionals, make sure you add those also It's kind of one of those things. I almost added to every single order I have. I've had people send me dimensionals as a thank you gift before, and I use them. And I, of course, find these little doodads all over the place with the little backings. So we're going to put that there. And then I showed you how to color pickles in the first one, so I'm not going to do that again. I've already got a pickle that has been stamped and colored. So we're just going to put a couple dimensionals on him. And we have a really fun punny card. And so there we go. Very easy. All right, so our next one, fingers crossed that I won't screw it up this time. I've already done it once on video and had to restart the whole video. So this card that we're going to be making is called an inside out card. And I'm going to go ahead and show you how it works so that you can see where we're going with it. So it opens up like this. So it has the opening, opens up, you have a second seam there, and then this part flips down and we have one other thing in there. So you've got plenty of room to write your greeting there, and everything kind of fits into place. I did one of these with a cake stamp set about 6 years ago, and so it is more of a portrait version rather than the landscape version, so it has different measurements, and if you're interested in that, I am going to link it at the very end of this video for you to go back and watch if you like. Alright, so the main thing on this is you've got two pieces of basic white cardstock that you're going to need, and they're 5.5 by 8.5. You're going to score it at 4 1/4, and then you want to trim 1/8 of an inch off of one side of that, and you want to do that on both of these, okay? So when I talk about the longer side, that would be this back side here, and then this is the shorter side. But we're going to start with the longer side, so I'm going to put that towards me, okay? And I am going to start by stamping the hamburger image. So we're going to just ink that up in basic black ink and put it right there in the center. Okay, very easy, very simple. And then we are going to die cut this. So I'm going to go ahead and put my die on here. I'll line that up. We're going to tape it down so it's good. And let me bring my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine over. Put that here. And we'll put it inside. And we're going to run that through. And this will be the last of the die cutting I'm going to do on screen today. There are some other die cuts that we're going to use on this particular card. And again, you'll receive the paper to cut all of those. Get those off. I'm just going to gently peel that off of there. I'm just going to set that aside. All right. So now we need to kind of put our card together. So you want your two inside pieces to go together. So those shorter pieces are going to go towards the inside. I hope that makes sense. Because when that happens, then you're going to have a little bit of a lip over here and a little bit of a lip over here, but yet they're going to fit together just like this, okay? So you want them even, like that. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and put adhesive on the back of this one. And this is the shorter end, so not the long end, the shorter end. So the two short ends go together. So again, we want to kind of put that there and there and stack that up. Okay. Let me make sure I got that wiggle. I like using the glue for this because it gives you that little extra wiggle room if you need it. Alright, and we're just going to make sure that's folded up good, and now we've got our 3 fold there. Okay, so we're ready to put this together. So with the hamburger stamp, you're just going to go ahead and color that like we did in the other video, and then you need to trim all around it so there's no white showing. So you can see how there's just a little white edge around that. You want to trim all of that up, cut right to the black outline. Okay, this is going to allow this to fold closed over there and give it room to move. Okay, if you have it with the edge, it's going to kind of stick and catch there, so we don't want that. So we're going to take the hamburger, we're going to put dimensionals on the back of that to give it a little interest. And again, this is just kind of a wow card. I am going to show you kind of a step down version of this where you could just do it as one layer. I actually screwed one up, of course. So this one is just a single, and I just left it like that. So I didn't do the three-fold. So if you want to make it simpler, just do one on there and don't do anything more. So we need to add all those extra goodies. So the first thing I have is the little flame, and I cut this from crushed curry cardstock, and you will have that in your kit to cut with. Again, any of the die cuts that are in the Bistro Burger I don't include in the kit, but if it's so you will have to cut those on your own. So right now I'm using pumpkin pie blend, and I'm just putting a little bit of color on that crushed curry die cut. And then I want to use a little bit of Poppy Parade right here at the tip. So if you don't have the blends, you could do this with you know, your ink pad and like a sponge dauber, or even just one of the blending brushes. You could do that to add some color to it. Okay, but we just want it to kind of look more like fire. All right, I'm going to grab my mini dimensionals to put this on with, because some of these little areas are not very big, and we want all of that to stick down. So we're going to do a little border there. There we go. And we're just going to put our fire right over our burger, like so. And we have a greeting to put there, so we're going to put, "Here's to a great guy." We're going to stamp that below there. I'm just going to stamp that right below the fire, like that. And then we need to do the inside panel. So again, there's a lot of different die cuts with that. We showed the olive, and there's some banners, some little flags. There's all sorts of things. This is a little cutting board, I suppose. And on this, I'm just going to add some glue. We cut this with pecan pie. And so there's not a stamp to go with it, but it is from the Bistro Burger dies. And then we have this little knife that comes in two pieces. So you've got a little knife handle and knife. I'm going to put some glue on there and put those together. And I don't know if you've seen the little thing here, but that's also in my Amazon store. I love that for when I'm doing projects like this and I need to have my glue really handy, and it makes it so easy. It keeps it upside down and ready to go. Alright, so we've got our knife. I'm going to go ahead and glue it down. There we go. I'm just going to put it on there so you're ready to eat your burger. And then we want to stamp "Time to Celebrate" right below that. So I'm using almost all the greetings on this one except for the big deal. There we go. And then we're going to open this up and we're going to stamp "Happy Father's Day." So this is one that I really think you could easily do it as a birthday card too. That would be definitely very cute because you've got this extra space. It would also be a great place to put like a gift card even. You could even stick one of those in there. So we've got "Happy Father's Day." And then of course you can't have a hamburger without having some French fries, so I did do some of those and cut those out. You could stamp them direct on there, but a lot of times I find with the blends I don't want those to bleed through. So we've got our little Happy Father's Day there. And so when you close this all up, you get Here's to a Great Guy, Time to Celebrate, Happy Father's Day. So another really fun card. So I'm going to show you all the cards again. So you, again, with the card kit, you get to make 2 of each. So we've got our 2 big deal, and then the ones from the first video, we have the French fry card right there, and our hamburger card right there. So you have 8 cards that you can make with the new Bistro Burger stamp set, and very easy. Hopefully you learned a few little tips and tricks along the way. Let me know what you think of this video by leaving me a comment below. I'd love to hear your feedback. So have a great day. I hope to add you as a new Stamp Doc customer and friend, and thanks for watching.